Yo, what is up, my fellow creative? I haven't done a video like this yet. I'm trying to introduce something new to the channel, and that is just talking. Crazy concept, I know, never been done before. Moving in this new direction that I want to move into. I want to introduce something to the channel that's not for the sake of views or profits or whatever. Just something where I could express myself and hopefully connect with like-minded individuals who are, needing to hear the advice that I have to give or, looking to hear the stories that I have to offer. So that's what we're going to be doing. And today we're going to be talking about, at least at the current moment, what I think is one of the most important and overlooked aspects of being a creative, and that is life balance. For anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Zach. I go by Shadow, and I'm a producer. So I basically have been making music for about 5 years. I've experimented in many different lanes of production. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about in this video anecdotally relates to music and specifically beat making, but it could definitely apply to anybody with a creative mind who's pursuing something creatively and is feeling very burnt out and just super confused on why they can't create. I want to start this video off with a story about who? Myself. I started making music, like I said earlier in the video, about 5 years ago. I was 17. I'm about to turn 22 now, so just about 5 years now. I started making music in like the peak pandemic era, so end of 2019 and then all of 2020. I was very privileged to have that opportunity to basically be fresh out of high school, not need a job, not go to college, just sit at home all day and be able to pursue music. But I made a huge mistake during this journey. Up until about a couple months ago, I pretty much only made music. That's it. That's all I did. Everything in my life revolved around music. I started off for about 2 years probably making type beats. I was posting 1 to 2 beats a day every single day for a year or two. A couple of pockets here and there where I missed a day, of course, but long story short, way too much. Around the 2-year mark is where I decided to turn the microphone on and start doing tutorials and start talking like I am today. At that point, I wasn't showing my face, but that's not really relevant to the video. Basically, I was making tutorial videos, educating people on how to make music in specific styles with like very niche artists that I didn't see a lot of coverage on. I thought it would be a great idea. It was pretty cool. It definitely progressed me in my career as a musician and like internet business, whatever. And around this point is where I started to notice some serious wear on my mental health. Pretty much half the days that I'd wake up, I was, dreading the day. I was not looking forward to something that should be very free, something that you appreciate, a position that I was and am in an immense amount of privilege to be in. About 6 months ago, so probably 4.5 years into my music journey, I was at what you would call the peak of my career. I was pulling in, thousands of views a day across all of my platforms. I was finally making a living, but despite all of that, it all came crashing down and I quit. I just completely gave up. I had a trip lined up to LA. I live on the East Coast. I was going to fly all the way to LA. I was going to do studio sessions. Finally, for the first time in my whole music career, I was going to meet up with people in real life, which I was super excited about because I was pretty much exclusively an online-based musician. If you had told me at the beginning of my career that that was the spot that I was going to be in, I would literally freak out. Like I would probably wish for nothing more than that. And I was at a point where I just didn't care and I threw it all away. I left like a little bit there and that's why I'm still here, thankfully. But yeah, that's my story of rock bottom. And hopefully I didn't take too long on that. Maybe I'll cut it down for the video because the main point of this story, why did I hit this rock bottom? It's not what I was doing, it's what I wasn't doing, which was living life. That life balance, in my personal opinion, isn't just one of the most important things as a creative. To me, it's the most important. Now, you could disagree. That's totally fine. I don't remember where I saw this or heard this, but the quote is something along the lines of, you can't create if you have nothing to say. In less vague terms, that basically means, how could you express yourself creatively if you're lacking perspective, life, experience to speak on? Now, I want to clarify that that doesn't mean, lonely people and antisocial people don't deserve to make art. That is not at all the point I'm making because there's plenty of topics to tackle, relating to that. that. But this big overarching point that I'm trying to get to is you just have to live life. I know, especially in the like fast production, overcapitalized society that we live in nowadays, you know, everyone's looking for what's next, everyone's looking for what's new, and especially people are encouraged to just work, just grind, and basically just do nothing but produce, not producing beats, but just, you know, production in the sense of like making something, you know, that's really bad. I know it's super easy to be tricked into thinking that that's a good thing. You definitely can produce a lot of things as a creative, whatever that may be, but you're gonna burn yourself out if you're not living life, man. Now, living life could mean whatever you want it to be. For me, when I started making music, like I said, I was fresh out of high school. It was peak pandemic, so I wasn't really seeing anybody, and I basically decided to do this big dramatic move where, you know, I cut everyone off that I didn't like. I deleted Snapchat where I had all my like personal connections, and I just locked in on the music, and I had this crazy overcapitalized dream of just, you know, keeping my head down and grinding every single day until I blew up and became the most famous producer in the world. And that's just horrible. Like, if you really look at that from an outside perspective, that is super depressing. And I know there's a lot of people out there who would hear that and be like, you know, yeah, good for you, man. You keep grinding, you keep working hard, and, you know, you're doing what's right in life. But I really wasn't. I really just hated life like half the time. I wouldn't say I was depressed necessarily, but I was definitely very burdened and lonely and bored. And I just really felt like I had nothing of value in my life. So for me, the relationships that I have with my friends and family, the quality time that I spend with them, that's at the top of my list when it comes to life balance. If I had infinite money and I didn't have to work another day in my life, I would spend all my days hanging out with my friends, going to beautiful places, doing beautiful things. That's just the kind of person I am. I actually used to be pretty introverted, but as I went on this 5-year path of basically doing nothing at all, I've grown to really appreciate, you know, time spent with people. That would be at the top of my list of, you know, what is life. Check out this. You guys ever have one of these? I don't know where I found this and the camera's not focusing, but it's this dope ass fidget toy. You might still be a pretty introverted person. Maybe you're somebody who doesn't value spending time with others as much as I do. Maybe it just doesn't do anything for you and you're very content being alone. That does not mean that you are exempt from that life balance, because there are a million other things that you could do outside of creating. And really the next point that I'm going to get to is you can create as a break from your creativity. I know it sounds kind of goofy, but using myself for an example, my like creativity that, you know, pays the bills, supports myself and stuff like that is music, but I can't only do that. A lot of what I do with this whole like shadow internet persona is a job and a business. It's to support myself, and although it's creatively based in making music, it's really not fulfilling in the way that pure, uninterrupted creativity is. So I do other creative things as a break to sustain my main creativity, or whatever you want to call it, and basically, like I said, make it sustainable. The main thing that I do is I make art. Fun fact, I used to want to be a full-time artist, and I went to this like fancy art class thing in high school that was supposed to teach you how to like make a living as an artist, and I burnt myself out again. I hated it so much, and I stopped making art the day I graduated high school, and I just finally got back into it 4 years later. Really just drives home the point that I'm trying to make in this video of life balance and not burning yourself out. But now I just make cool stuff. You're probably thinking like, what do you draw? And the answer to that is really whatever I want. I'll throw some pictures up on the screen of like some paintings that I've made, and, you know, generally just that, because that's mostly what I'm doing right now. But yeah, there is no purpose in this other than creating. I just express myself. I make whatever I want to make. I have a very abstract approach to painting. I am not personally a fan of like, you know, perfectionism and realism when it comes to drawing and painting. So I purposely go for the opposite route. It's just, for me, it's a break. You know, I turn my camera off. I put the guitar down or whatever I'm doing musically. I want to have fun. I want to, you know, get my feelings out, make cool things, and just do something to take my mind off of what I do, even if it's creatively based. And that for me is painting. I want to wrap this video up with a point that I got from the producer Rick Rubin. If you're somebody who's into creativity, you probably know who he is. He's super inspiring for me. I have his book, The Creative Act, and a super amazing point that he's always trying to drive home is that everything we do is creative. And when you really think about that, you can really have a lot of fun. You could really escape burnout if you're, you know, pursuing a main creative path, whether that be to get really good or or to support yourself financially. Whatever it is that you choose to do, you don't have to worry about, oh, am I being creative? I need to constantly be creative, whatever. It's like creativity is always there. It's stuck in the subconscious in the back of your head. The way you drive home, if you take a different route than normal, that was a creative choice. If you're playing a video game or solving a puzzle and you know, use your critical thinking skills to make a certain play or decision, that was a creative act. That's why the book is called The Creative Act, because everything that we do is creative. Kind of end this point off, what I'm trying to get at is, one, everything we do is creative. Stop worrying about if you're being creative or not, okay? Doing lazy things, doing things to turn your mind off, doing things to relax, doing things that are just strictly to bring you joy are important. To me, I would argue they are even more important than the creative act that you are performing. Yeah, I guess that's gonna kind of wrap up what I have to say for this video. I hope I was able to, you know, offer you guys a perspective. I hope you heard something in this video that you really feel like you've been waiting and needing to hear. Please treat yourself kindly. Please focus on that life balance. Don't think that the path to being an amazing creative is secluding yourself and damaging yourself by neglecting the things that you so deeply desire, whether that be quality time, relaxation, time spent with friends and family. It doesn't matter what it is. Take that creative energy that you put into whatever creative path that you have laid out and use it to make an amazing life, okay? There's more to life than just your creations. Go out and experience things in whatever way you feel necessary. I think that summarizes everything that I have to say. If you guys made it to the very end of this video, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much, because this is something new to the channel and I really, really appreciate you guys if you did stick around to the end and listen to me just ramble on for however long this video is. But I'd also really appreciate it if you went into the comments section and let me know what things you're really struggling with as a creative. Even if you aren't a musician, feel free to let me know. I'd also love some constructive criticism on, you know, what could be better about these videos, because right now there's really no format at all. And maybe leave a like if you enjoyed the video. All right, peace.